Welcome back for another video. Final thoughts and tips ahead of the Double Gameweek 32 deadline, answering the biggest questions and dilemmas this week sent in by you, and then we're going to run through my team and some closing thoughts. So just quickly then, Salah's extended at Liverpool 2 more years of the Egyptian king in FPL and the Premier League, the GOAT of FPL. I'm personally delighted to have him around for longer, but I'm interested to know what you guys think. He's one of my all-time favourite Prem players personally, and given he smashed the all-time record for points, I wonder how much he's going to be next season. What do you reckon, like 15 million? Or more than that, or maybe a bit less? I think the most he's ever been is 13 million, but they put Haaland 15 million this season, so surely Salah can be 15 at least. So, first question from Dave. Is the Gameweek 32 bench boost too risky, given the rotation risk for Arsenal and the Villa assets? And I'm also going to use this question as a general discussion about some of the major rotation risks this game week and what to do with your team. So Saka, Rodgers, Rashford and Foden are the ones that I've highlighted as big risks. If you've got any of these four, have a look at your bench and whether there's someone with a half decent fixture that you could trust more to start. I would consider playing them instead. Saka took a small knock in the Champions League. I think Arteta won't take for granted that they're through. They've still got to play the second leg at the Bernabeu. I think Ranieri is likely to start in right wing. Rodgers and Rashford also a bit risky due to playing in the Champions League. And, I mean, it's not over for Aston Villa, but it's going to be hard. They are playing home next. And Foden, he's generally just been off it this season when fit, hasn't he? We saw Grealish playing as a 10, and he played pretty well there, and he scored. And we did see Foden off of a knock last match. If you're going to bench boost these guys, then just have a look at your bench in Gameweek 33 and how it would compare. I think pivoting to a Gameweek 33 bench boost is a solid plan, and that's what I would do if you're sat on a few bench risks this week. Dave also asked about triple captain, but let's move on to the next question which covers that more. It's Kyle who says, triple captain Isak or Mateta, or save it for Gameweek 36. So let's break down Gameweek 36 first. Let's use Ben Credden's fixtures, and he's got the double Gameweek likelihoods here for each team. So Man City and Villa have 64% chance of doubling with the latest odds. I think any Bournemouth assets against Villa and Man City is worse than Isak with a home double to Man United and Palace now, so ignore that. Southampton and Bournemouth would be a really strong double for City. The caveat really is that Haaland's estimated to be back around Gameweek 36 or 37, which does make waiting for Marmish a bit risky. And you're also betting on City reaching the FA Cup final. They are favourites, of course, to knock Forest out. We do know that obviously either Forest or City will reach the final, so we'll either get that spicy City double gaming, or we'll get Forest with a double home to Leicester and away to West Ham, which does make Wood an option. With everything considered, in my eyes, the sensible decision is to play what's in front of you. A home double for Newcastle. Isak, he's been the best striker in the league this season, so use it on Isak now. Question from Andy Martin, Eze or Sarr? I mentioned in the team selection video that obviously Eze's just bagged that 9-pointer versus Sarr's 2-pointer, so surely Eze, right? Well, digging a bit deeper, Eze had 0.02 expected assists, Sarr had 0.01. So I mean, neither put up remotely good underlying numbers, and it was elite finishing from teammates that bagged Eze that 9-pointer. I'm a big advocate for underlying numbers. Like, give me the player who's got 4 blanks in a row with extremely promising consistent stats over a player that's just scored 4 worldies in a row that looks unsustainable. So yeah, looking at their underlying data then, over the last 5 game weeks, Sarr is topping the entire league with 4.0 XGI. Naturally, he has played against Leicester and Southampton, which will help inflate that. But I mean, so is Eze, and he's nowhere near the top here. And looking at the season stats, midfielders specifically, Sarr is 5th with 12.8 XGI. Eze, again, nowhere near close. So you probably get where I'm going with this. Sarr for like 1 million or so cheaper, and better underlying numbers is the better pick if I had to choose one. I've actually got both in my team, which I think is perfectly fine as well. Even a triple up in attack with Mateta is alright. By the way, you can access expected data and all the rest completely free in my app. Just search FPL Focal in the app stores, links below as well. Let's have a look at the scout selection. What's the best team for Gameweek 32? So the team is Sanchez in goal, Munoz, Milenkovic and Burn, Salah, Palmer, Matoma, Murphy, Isak captain, Watkins and Mateta. No Palace mid, surprisingly. They've gone obviously with assistant manager Glasner, they do that every week. So Watkins, I mean, he should start, having been benched in the Champions League. I think if I was picking the team, I would have swapped Matoma out for Sarr and then go Munoz to a different defender. Like maybe double Forest defence, or I suppose you could go for a Brighton defender like Dunk. Strong team though. How many players have you got from the scout selection? Rotoma, by the way, he is a doubt for Game Week 32 as well, so don't buy him. Moving on with a brief look at the market projections this week, projected goals and clean sheet odds for all teams from Rob T. So Newcastle with their double game week combined are on 3.85 projected goals, which of course is far more than any team. Even Palace, just 2.2 for their double. And likewise Newcastle top of the clean sheet odds, 53% chance for them. Unless you're on assistant manager Howe, then triple Newcastle should be the goal this week. What's the best triple up then? Well, I would say Isak, of course, and then Murphy, and then any defender like Livramento, Sheb, Burton Trippier, and Pope, all perfectly good this week. I've got Bird myself. I mean, particularly if you're not free hitting in Game Week 34, you need to get onto these Newcastle assets, even if it costs you a hit this week. They've got the double, and you're going to need them when they've got Ipswich home in 34. Captaincy rankings. This week it's Isak number 1, Mateta number 2, and Murphy number 3. Only Salah's got more goal contributions since December than Murphy, so I think he deserves a spot in the top 3. Proper differential captain though. It does feel like getting fancy of captaincy might be overthinking. Isak just seems far superior to any other assets this week. But are any of you considering anyone other than Isak for captaincy? I've just put a poll up on my channel as well, so get your votes in. The captaincy widget on the app has got Isak on 5 stars, and no one else is on more than 1 star. Who are the most bought and sold players around the world this week? The latest numbers are as follows. So Murphy number 1 with about 400,000 new owners, and then it's Mateta. Rodgers surprisingly in 3rd. Now I know he scored last week in the Champions League, but I'd be very careful buying him. Southampton's got to be a fixture that Emery's going to look at and think, I can start Watkins, Asensio, Marlon, etc. here, after they didn't start in the Champions League. Marlon obviously not even in the squad, and he can still get a result against Southampton. I mean, it's possible he does start. He does basically start every game in every competition. Kluivert's the most sold this week, and then it's Aina, who's obviously injured, Wood, Gabriel, and Bumo and Gueye. FPL LOL says, is it too late to use the assistant manager chip this game week? And let's also discuss who are the best ones for Game Week 32 and 33. So, first of all, the chip lasts for 3 weeks, so obviously if you use it now, you're going to have it active in blank Game Week 34 still, which means you can't free hit them. It's 1 chip at a time allowed. If you're not on a free hit 34 strategy, then absolutely, now's an amazing time to have it active. Howe or Glasner then? Or do you just go for someone that doubles in 33 now? If you've got a few free transfers, then I would go for Howe and then switch to Arteta or Pep in Game Week 33. If you don't, then I'd go for Glasner and just stick with him for the next 2 game weeks and then switch in Game Week 34 when he's blanks, maybe to Howe then. These are FPL Reviews projections looking at the next 2 game weeks combined. I highly recommend using the review, by the way. I'll link it below. So for the next 2 game weeks, Glasner's top with 23.3 projected points. Obviously there's a few table bonus games in there as well. Then it's Arteta, then it's Pep, then it's Howe. You can squeeze out slightly more potential points by going Howe Game Week 32 to Arteta Game Week 33 if possible. So a quick roundup of the key news from today's press conferences then. So first of all, Slot says Alisson's fit and available after passing the concussion protocols, and Bradley's also in contention to start after making his return from injury. Bradley's an interesting left field pick. If you're still looking for a Gabriel replacement or you need a defender in general, he's only 4.7 mil. He's got West Ham home, then he's got Leicester away the next 2 games. I mean, he's not totally nailed on to start this game week, but he's far more attacking than Kanate or Van Dijk. Mitoma's a doubt for Game Week 32 following a heavy challenge last game week against Palace, and Van Heck's also suspended after a red card in that match. And of course Gueye and Nketiah also were red carded in that game, so they're not available for Palace. Some Gordon news then. Howe says he was back on grass yesterday and he'll be assessed later today ahead of Game Week 32. And Howe actually missed the press conference with illness. I'm stating the obvious here, or maybe not, because there were lots of questions about Slot when he got the red card in the double, but if Howe misses the Man United game with that illness, then it's got absolutely no effect on his assistant manager score. Howe's expected to make the game anyway for what it's worth. So what do we do with Gordon? I'd honestly still look to switch him to Murphy if I had him. Howe just can't be trusted, and it's not a particularly promising update anyway, so yeah, honestly I'd look to switch him out. And lastly, Wood, Awani and Elanga are going to be assessed ahead of this game week, and Nuno said, on all of them I'm hopeful. It can be all of them, it can be none, we don't know. It depends how they recover and how they feel. So yeah, a pretty vague update really from Nuno. Finishing up with a look at my final team, one transfer's been made as well. So the team is Martinez in goal, Vardy or Burn and Konate in defence, Eze, Sarr, Murphy, Palmer and Salah in midfield, Mateta and Isak up front, and on the bench Raya, Marmoush, Saliba and Wan-Bissaka. I might end up regretting not setting up for a Game Week 32 bench boost because it's a really strong bench here. It's off the cards basically because Wan-Bissaka's got Liverpool. I just ultimately felt that using the chip sandwiched between two Champions League legs could be risky, plus there's Europa Conference League for Palmer. So Gabriel to Saliba is done. I would have preferred to make that move in Game Week 33 of course, but money's really tight for planned moves. The plan would be Palmer to Saka and Murphy to Rodgers in Game Week 33. Right now this has only got 0.2 million in the bank spare, so I had to get ahead of price changes the night that Gabriel fell and Saliba rose, otherwise I'd be on 0.0. So yeah, fingers crossed this time next week I can still afford those moves. We'll see what happens with price changes. So that would give me a bench in Game Week 33 of Martinez with a double, and then it'd be Isak, Burn and Wan-Bissaka. The 50-50 calls that I'm faced with this week is Martinez versus Raya and Vardy versus Saliba. Martinez has got Southampton, Raya's got Brentford, but obviously Arsenal's defence is just way better than Villa's. And yeah, do I bench Vardy when he's playing against my Palace attackers? I am expecting a rotated Arsenal side again, and Brentford are a decent side, aren't they? Palmer came off for half time in the Europa Conference League. Maresca said it was a pre-planned substitute. Tosin also came off at half time. They went on to win 3-0 second half, so I'm actually hoping that result is good news in the sense that it could point towards Palmer getting a start and good minutes against Ipswich. Like Chelsea should have their tie all but wrapped up now. They're playing at Stamford Bridge and they're leading 3-0 on aggregate for the second leg. So logically, he should prioritise the Premier League against Ipswich. Anyway, let's see. Thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit subscribe for more like this every week. Next week's going to be a big week of videos for Double Gameweek 33. We're going to be live here as well for a deadline stream in the morning. See you all then.